श्रीगणेशाय नमः। श्रीसरस्वत्यै नमः। श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः। श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पाद शङ्करं लोकशङ्करं शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः। ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। योऽन्तः प्रविश्य मम वाचमिमां प्रसुप्तां सञ्जीवयत्यखिलशक्तिधरस्वधाम्ना अन्यांशहस्तचरणश्रवणत्वगादीन् प्राणान् नमो भगवते पुरुषाय तुभ्यम्। सुखं नित्यं स्वप्रकाशं व्यापकं नामरूपयोः अधिष्ठानं बुद्ध्यबोध्यं बुद्धेर्दृग्यत्तु निर्मलम् अपारं सर्ववेदान्त वेद्यं प्रत्यक्परं महः तदेवाहं न मत्तोऽन्यत इति मे निश्चिता मतिः। We are analyzing Khyativada. What is Khyativada? What is Khyati? We have seen Khyati is erroneous cognition or error in perception. Literally, Khyati word means cognition itself. That's it. Spurana, Khyati. But here it is referring to excuse me. Yeah. It is referring to error in cognition. Now, it depends on how you want to translate it. Before we proceed with today's topic, I am just going to go through the topic which we have seen earlier and the basic concepts and ideas which will be required for our further analysis. So, again going through what word Khyati means. Because author has explained Khyati, Chatushtaya and Anirvachaniya Khyati. Khyati, either you can translate it as erroneous cognition or error in cognition. Both are acceptable. Now, taking this into account, error in cognition or erroneous cognition, which is a Brahma, or as Adi Shankaracharya ji has translated it, Adhyasa. What is the modus operandi, definition and description based on these? There are different theories how something is seen as something else. Bhashyakara in his commentary on Brahma Sutra, where he in introductory commentary on Brahma Sutra in Adhyasa Bhashya, when he is explaining all these different types, he concludes, in short, everybody accepts that something is seen on something else or something is seen as something else. But how does this happen? Now, for all this to understand, just keep in mind one thing. I am explaining all these out of the perspective of this text. Now, this text itself has not explained all these things. But for us to understand what this text is trying to say, we have to understand all these things. What is it? There has to be a locus, substratum, on which superimposition is going to be. Superimposition is going to take place. Now that substratum, that part which we are going to call as substratum, can be present or can be totally absent. But substratum, something called as substratum or locus, has to be there. Then there has to be something, a cause, because of which something is seen on something else. That is usually taken as ignorance, avidya, etc. So in our case, when rope is erroneously cognized as snake, we have substratum, that is rope, and we have some other cause, something else, as ignorance, avidya, because of which snake is being superimposed. Again, one more thing. There has to be Vishaya. Now this is going to be a little bit technical. This we have not covered in earlier class. There has to be a Vishaya, object that is going to be cognized, and there should be cognition of that object. For any cognition to be, for any perception to be, there has to be object that is going to be cognized, that is Vishaya. In absence of Vishaya, or in total non-perception of an object, there can be no perception. Now this may be repetitive statement, redundant statement, but this you have to understand. Now with this all raw material in our hand, in our mind, let's analyze all that we have seen. What does Shunyavadin say? Shunyavada is the mata, is the theory propounded by Shunyavadi, that is a part of Buddha, a school of thought in Buddhic philosophy, Buddhic system. What do they say? Their basic idea is everything is Shunya, total non-existence. Nothing is there. And when we say nothing is there, the substratum, the locus on which something else is being seen, they both are totally non-existent. Substratum, the rope, is non-existent, as well as the rope which is the snake which is seen, which is perceived, is also totally non-existent. In general perception, it's a perception in general idea. What do we say? Actually there was snake, but I saw rope. Now in this concept we say, okay, there is snake somewhere else, but I saw rope as snake. In this experience, for us, rope is real. The snake which I have seen somewhere else at some different point of time, at some different location, is also real. But here in this perception, that snake was not real. But in the theory of Shunyavadin, they say everything is non-existent, nothing is there. For which a question was asked. In author's explanation, question was raised against them, for them. If such is the case, then there is no correlation. You have not explained any correlation between what is being seen on where, on what substratum. There has to be some rule, some correlation. Otherwise, that which is totally non-existent can also be seen. What is totally non-existent? Shashashrunga, horns of rabbit. Vandhya Putra, son of a barren woman. They are totally non-existent. They also will be seen. Why? Because in your explanation, in your theory, that which is totally non-existent, there something which is totally non-existent is being seen. Son of a barren woman, horns of rabbit, they both are totally non-existent. Therefore, at some point of time, for someone, they also should have been seen somewhere else. That doesn't happen. Imagine looking at monkey, somebody says, this is son of a barren woman. Impossible. It's not possible. So your theory has its inherent flaws. then it is not enough just to point out inherent flaws. You have to propound something else. So comes forward another school of thought in Buddhic philosophy, Buddhic system, that is Kshanika Vijnanavada. What Kshanika Vijnanavadin says, in their theory, in their school, what they say, in reality, everything which is perceived is in our mind itself. I am very much simplifying all these things, so bear with me. Everything is in our mind. Then they refer to that as Atma. They refer to that Kshanika Buddhi, that momentary intellect, as Atma. Now, this intellect is momentary. There is point of birth, like Utpatti, Sthiti and Pralaya. These are the three moments. That's what in that, for those moments alone, that object exists. Utpatti, Sthiti, Pralaya, Utpatti, Sthiti, Pralaya. Continuously that intellect is changing. There is nothing outside, external. No external object exists. All those objects are just in our mind. Now with this, let's come to our basic raw material. There is a locus and something else is being seen. If everything is being perceived in our mind, what has happened is that buddhi itself has become locus, and this buddhi itself is being seen, or in that buddhi itself, that snake is appearing. There is another explanation for this also. I am going to come to that. So instead of being or taking form of rope, the intellect has taken form of snake. And not just that, that snake is being seen outside in front of you. They go slightly deeper, further. They say actually that object was in my mind, but it is being seen outside somewhere else. So objects in our mind are being seen outside. That itself is adhyasa. But in snake and rope, rope is being perceived as snake, which is outside. In reality, actually what has happened is mind itself has taken shape of that snake. Okay, understood. I can correlate that with the world. In which way? All the objects which are being seen outside, they are not really there outside, but they are in my mind. But for this theory, a question is raised. Okay, but in your philosophy, in your school of thought, that buddhi is kshanika, momentary. So that perception of snake, which snake? That snake which was not there, should also have been momentary. But it continues to be, that experience continues. Whether it was erroneous or whether it was real or relatively real, it doesn't matter. It should have been momentary, because that mind itself is momentary. But because it continues, it is not possible that that snake or that buddhi itself has taken shape of that snake. Now, Advaita Mata, when simplified, appears to say the same thing, but there are differences. We also say all the objects are not there outside. In reality, what we are seeing, what is being perceived is in our mind itself. Thought modifications. But the way we explain the procedure, the process is different. For us, the substratum and what is being seen changes, and that changes the whole game. That changes the whole explanation. So this is momentary intellect, that is Kshanika Vijnanavada. They have this inherent defect for which there is another explanation which is given by Naiyayika. What Naiyayika say is, no, forget all that, all this. What we say is, the snake which is there somewhere else on ant hill, etc. That snake is there, it is real. I have rope in front of you, but because of defect in my eyes, that snake is being perceived. Now this is Prachina Naiyayika Mata. Navya Naiyayika Mata has refuted this. What it comes down to is the locus, or substratum, that is the rope which is in front of you, because of defect in our eyes, cause, is being seen as snake which is somewhere else. That rope is seen as anyatha, erroneously something else. But for which Navya Naiyayika refute this idea, and they modify this idea and say that in all this explanation, you are trying to say that snake which is somewhere on ant hill is being seen here. That means because of defect in our eyes, the capacity of our eyes perceiving things has increased. That is not possible. That is not our experience. So what's happening in reality? In reality, what is being seen is, because of defect in our eyes, that rope itself appears as snake. Now let me restate this statement. That rope itself is seen as snake. Rajjo अन्यथा prakareణ sphuranam. Rope itself appears as something else. Now this is where next question is going to be raised. So just I'm going to recap. Asat khyati, asataha, that which is non-existent, khyati, sphuranam, asat khyati. Atma, momentary intellect, appearing somewhere else outside as snake. Atma khyati, anyatha, prakarantarena, one object appearing as something else. One object itself appearing as something else is anyatha khyati of Naiyayika, for which akhyātivāda of Sankhya and Prabhakar Mīmānsaka, they explain that all these are insufficient to explain why rope is being perceived as snake. In reality, what is happening is, when I am seeing rope, in reality, when okay, before that, Sankhya and Prabhakara, there is question about Navya Naiyayika. What they say is, Nyayadhinam Jnanam iti prasiddhihi. The first question they raise is about how rope can appear as snake. Rope will appear as rope alone. An object which is seen will be seen as it is. By itself, that object cannot be seen as something else. Object by itself can never be seen as something else. Something else can be seen in place of that object. But in your explanation, that object itself is being seen, not possible. For which they differentiate between the two. When they say this is snake, make two parts. One is this and other is snake. Sorry, this is and other is snake. When rope is being perceived, all as though thought modification, those thoughts go out through our eyes, pervade the object in front, which is rope, but they don't cognize that rope completely as it is. So the rope is generally known as this is, because we know something is there, on which the snake from our memory, smriti, is superimposed. And when they both come together, we do not distinguish between the superimposition out of our memory of snake and this is, that is the rope. And this lack of distinction causes that knowledge. Which knowledge? This is snake. This is Asatkhyati Mata. Author has added Satkhyati Mata. I'll just explain in short. It is not really necessary. It is not really taken up for discussion at other places. But Satkhyati is simple. Why we have to take into account this Satkhyati? Because they raise argument, they raise question about Asatkhyati Mata. What Satkhyati Mata says is their argument. What you are trying to say is there are two different knowledges. One is this is and one is rope. So there is knowledge out of memory and there is knowledge out of perception. For knowledge that this is rope, these two knowledges have to be together at one point of time. These are both knowledges, this is and rope. Now the funny part is all these sentences, if when we are hearing for the first time and if we have not thought about them, all these appear to be same. But mind you, they are very much different. And the other problem is the expressiveness in English is very much limited. And even if we try to explain that in English, you have to add many subclauses and then it becomes very much scholarly work and it loses its beauty. Anyways, so there are two different knowledges. This is and snake. This is from direct perception, snake is from memory. Now, whether he is Shatavadhani, Sahasravadhani, it doesn't matter. Nobody can have two knowledges at one point of time. At one particular moment, there will be one knowledge alone. For those who are Shatavadhani, those who can multitask at very high speed, the gap between these two knowledges will be negligible, very, very short, but the gap has to be there. So To say this is snake, two knowledges cannot come together at one point of time to give one jnana, one knowledge. Furthermore, what you are trying to say is you were afraid of the snake which is in front of you, which was not there. What scared you? This is or snake? Let's accept, okay, this is and snake, they both are together. What scared you? This, a snake, not the rope. But snake is out of your memory. The knowledge of snake is out of your memory. And nobody gets scared of objects which are known out of memory. A person is relaxing in his house and he remembers the tiger which he has seen in zoo or somewhere during safari, jungle safari, say. So, by remembering that tiger or by remembering the snake which he has seen outside in the wild, he is not scared at all. So, you are trying to say the person got scared because of something which he came to know out of his memory. That is not possible. And if you say that in place of rope, I saw snake which was not there. So after this illusion, after this superimposition is over, when you see that snake as snake, what is your experience? You say that I erroneously cognized snake on the rope. You never say I remembered snake on the rope. So that snake cannot be out of your memory. Imagine how much they have thought. Now, just raising argument question is not enough. So what do Khyativada say? They say the snake which is being seen is real. They have very out of the world explanation. We may laugh at them, but given a choice, if we are asked to think about it, we can not come even with this explanation. What they are explaining is, when you see that snake on rope, that snake at that point of time is real. How come? All the objects which are in the world are made up of 5 basic elements, Pancha Mahabhuta. So for all objects to come out of Pancha Mahabhuta, their parts do exist everywhere. See, let me give you an example. A mud pot, jar, vase, mud pot, jar, vase, all these are made up of mud. For them to be made up of mud, they exist in parts throughout the mud which has been collected, or everywhere wherever their mud is. Now we are not going to go into details of what type of mud is required, etc. Let's keep that aside, that is unnecessary. Now you cannot say that only this part of mud which has been collected for pottery, this part of mud or this mud can make vase only, not pot. It's not possible. So from that same mud, that is upadana karana, material cause, you can make vase also, you can make pot also, you can make jar also. Why? Because parts of those objects do exist in that mud. Similarly, parts of, the word they have used is avayava, of all the objects which are there throughout world in entire universe do exist in Panchamahabhuta. So the Panchamahabhuta which are there in that rope, that those create rope, create snake, and that snake is seen. For which the question is raised, if that snake is real, the problem is if that snake becomes real, real snake can never go away by knowledge. So because the appearing snake, superimposed snake, goes away when you see rope. So snake has to be mithya. Why? Because the appearance or that mithya jnana went away when real rope was seen. So snake has to be mithya. It cannot be real. So Satkyativada also is insufficient in explaining why snake was seen on rope. Now, after all this argument, after all their questioning and discussion is over, the Advaitavada or Advaitin comes forward and says, "Don't worry, let me explain what is happening." After explaining the whole thing, author goes further. He says, this Shishya asks Guru, if all these Vada, one is refuting the other, one is raising question on someone else and answering some part. So all of these have some or the other inherent flaw in them. So what is the final answer? Guru says that khyati, that spurana, that erroneous cognition is anirvachaniya, inexplicable. Shishya says, so you mean to say you are not able to answer because nirvachana is explanation, answering. It cannot be answered. He says no. That is the direct meaning, literal meaning of the word anirvachaniya. What we are trying to say by word anirvachaniya is its exact explanation can never be given. How is it? Let's again come to general understanding of what is anirvachaniya khyati. Coming back to our raw material, locus and cause, substratum and cause. Our experience is this is snake. When we see rope, that snake goes away. Now, the substratum for apparent snake or erroneously cognized snake is rope. The cause for erroneous appearance is avidya, ignorance. Ignorance of what? Ignorance of substratum. Is it total ignorance? No, it is partial. Substratum has to be perceived, but it cannot be perceived exactly the way it is. And on that partially perceived substratum, because of ignorance, snake is superimposed. But the problem is that snake is neither Sat nor Asat. What is What do you mean? It is neither Sat nor Asat. Tell me, when you saw that snake, at that moment of time, during that time of experience, the duration of experience, was that snake mithya, unreal, or real? Of course it was real. That's why I was so much afraid of that snake. Okay. So, is that snake real? No. Because when I saw rope, that snake went away. So the snake was never there at all. No, no, no. It cannot be said that snake was not there at all. Why? Because that which is totally non-existent can never be superimposed. So now the snake which is being experienced cannot be completely asat, totally non-existent, like Vandhya Putra Shashavishana, son of a barren woman, or horns of rabbit, because it is being perceived. Yet at the same time, it cannot be Sat, real, because the cognition of that snake goes away when its substratum, the rope, is being seen. Therefore, that snake is neither Sat nor Asat. Its exact nirvachana as Sat or Asat cannot be given. Therefore, that erroneous cognition is anirvachaniya. This is anirvachaniya khyati. Same way, the world, while it is being perceived, cognized, let that be erroneously, it is real. It has to be real. But when its substratum, Brahman, is experienced, its erroneous cognition goes away. And because it goes away, it cannot be totally non-existent. At the same time, it cannot be real also. Therefore, this creation is anirvachaniya khyati. This is the basic idea behind anirvachaniya khyati. Before we proceed, there is very beautiful point. I'll just explain it to you. This world which is around us, this universe, now this is out of the context of this text, but just to understand what Advaita is trying to say. The world which is being experienced is governed by universal laws. If the laws did not operate, there is no reality. If laws did not operate, there is no reality. The world, the universe is governed by, or let's add one word, this physical world is governed by universal laws. If laws did not operate, there is no reality. How do we say so? Fire burns, water flows, air flows. These are basic universal laws. If these laws did not operate, we will start questioning the reality. In dream, we can fly. Fire cannot burn us. That's why we say that is dream, that is not real. Now, let's come to the next part. We examine the world around us with the instruments that we have. We examine the world around us with the instruments that we have. Now, these instruments by itself are defective. So, and these instruments are working under given specific condition. That is Shabda, Sparsha, Rupa, Rasa, Gandha, Vishaya and all our 5 sense organs. Now, once we are convinced, but the problem is we are convinced of all these instruments operating perfectly. And once we are convinced about the operation of these instruments in relation with universal laws, we take all the experiences gained through these instruments to be real. See how many layers have gone through. Once we have established rules and those rules are being experienced by us, we think that everything is real. That's why we take all our experiences to be real, and because we take all our experiences to be real, we experience happiness and sorrow. In reality, everything in the world which is being experienced is falsely cognized because of inherent defect in the instruments by which we are trying to measure. Why? Because we are already convinced of the external reality. That is the inherent problem. This is the work of avidya, maya, anirvachaniya, khyati. Now, let me just explain you one small point and we will conclude. So, in anirvachaniya khyati, we are going to dive deep and see that what is exactly happening, for which I'll just give you few pointers. Chaitanya is everywhere. Chaitanya, that is Atma Brahman, is everywhere. Avidya, being the subordinate of this Chaitanya, I am using the word subordinate because it is Vasha, is everywhere. In other words, Chaitanya conditioned by Avidya is everywhere. So there is Chaitanya also, Avidya also. Because there is Avidya, the 3 gunas or Avidya are also there. When an object is being seen, the thoughts which go out through our indriya, those thoughts are endowed with Chaitanya. So there also there is Jada and there is Chetana part. And when all these operate, we have different aspects which I refer to as the substratum, the object of erroneous cognition, the erroneous cognition of that object. So there has to be Vishaya, which is Avidya Janita, and there should be jnana which is avidya janita. So of course we are going to see this whole analysis next time, and I am not going to go into each and every explanation which has been given by author because it is lengthy and at some parts it is unnecessary, but we will see as much as we can, but that we will see next time. But keep in mind what we are going to refer to next time is jada aspect, at the same time chetana aspect, the conditioned consciousness where there is conditioning which is jada, and chaitanya which is chetana, consciousness which is chetana, and they both coming together, they both play their own role in producing brahma jnana, erroneous cognition. Om असतो मा सद्गमय तमसो मा ज्योतिर्गमय मृत्योर्मा अमृतंगमय समस्तलोका सुखिनो भवन्तु समस्तलोका सुखिनो भवन्तु समस्तलोका सुखिनो भवन्तु ओम शांति 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 हरि ओम श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः हरि ओम।